time that we fight to be taken down. We have to prepare for war. We have to prepare to live another day. Because, frankly, I believe that we're never going to take back the country as a whole because of the unthinking majorities that are controlled by a corrupt media. I think if we have a possibility, it will be because of smaller bastions of liberty that will be created in the chaos of a coming war. That when people that, the remnant, as I call it, that are being grouped and created by the works of Alex and many other people, will, by the inspiration of the Lord, feel inspired to group to areas where they can renew freedom. And I think it's within those smaller groups that we'll be able to survive someday. But we must survive the war to do that. And I know that's off most people's radar screen. But I can tell you, if you subscribe to the World Affairs Brief, if you read any of my books, you can be convinced that our government is covering for Russian and Chinese war preparation, pacifying, trying to do everything they can.
Well, they gave them the Panama Canal. They gave them all the nuke secrets. They gave North Korea. They give everybody the systems.
And look at how they're playing paper tiger with North Korea, guaranteeing no regime change, guaranteeing that we'll have no military intervention. And North Korea is a pariah in the world compared to Iran, and yet we give Iran no slack. We know they're going to war in Iran, and yet they continue to. I think they're preserving North Korea for a trigger event in World War III. And as I say, I don't think it's going to come off for another 8 to 10 years, but I think we need to take that time to prepare so that we're ready for whatever comes in the future.
Well, Joel, talk about it in closing, a disgusting example and really a show window of hereditary tyranny that communism is about, a bunch of murdering kingpins, to watch the third generation, this Kim Il son, the son of Kim Jong-il, the grandson of the first dictator, that big, fat, bloated hog. They admit they spend millions a year on gourmet meals on jets from Europe thrown to them. The Kim Jong-il, the current dictator, on record has special teams kidnap South Korean and Japanese film stars. He has a 6-story torture palace, sex palace. I mean, that's the face of collectivism. Is the hell that's North Korea, and a bloated, fat, demonic hog, 23 years old, being made the dictator, up there seething in power, surrounded by all these control freaks in their uniforms, all just equally into the power because the minions under them worship them, so they worship the psychopath above them. Is that not a disgusting display of this filth?
It is disgusting, Alex, but it's only the tip of the iceberg. In fact, the Chinese are running North Korea.
Yes, that's on record.
And Kim Jong-un was the heir apparent now, is trained in Switzerland. He's actually got a lot of pro-Western ideas. They're not going to let him rule by himself without the handlers, the controllers from Red China who are swarming that place. They're the ones keeping that thing afloat.
But reportedly, they're not having the 33-year-old fat goblin run things. The older son, they've got this Soon guy because he's supposedly ruthless. Yeah, he likes Von Damme, and he likes Schwarzenegger, and and the other older brother, tried to sneak into Japan to go to Disney World. But I mean, give me a break. I mean, have you looked at the photos of him just seething with evil?
Yeah, that's right. But as I say, this is a facade. There's nobody that incompetent, that corrupt, that can run a country and do what they do. This is a pariah puppet state of Russia and China, and Russia's keeping way in the background.
Yeah, Russia borders North Korea as well.
That's right, absolutely true. So China really has their hands in that, and they're making sure that North Korea is kept. Just an incredible ploy. Our government is not controlled by dumb people. These people know. If I know it, they know it.
Well, I mean, it was the Chinese that backed the North Koreans with the demonic grandpa, and they're still there backing it, but they own the most of our debt. Next, the Federal Reserve. I mean, we are captured by a bunch of scum, and it's time it stops.
Well, we've got to remember that whenever you look at how the U.S. plays China, they are bending over backwards to make sure that China gets every advantage. They're not trying to interdict Chinese capture of oil supplies and strategic territory, whether it's in the Bahamas, whether it's in Panama, whether it's in Long Beach, California, God forbid. They're there, too. We're facilitating Chinese hegemony all over the world, and I think that this currency conflict between Geithner and China is just so much showmanship. They have to appear to the American people as if they're bucking China, but they're not. Gates goes back, and the Asian conference there in Hanoi, all they could do was beg the Chinese to have more military exchanges with them. Now, what possible purpose do we have as the United States doing military exchanges with China? What possible purpose do we have of inducing President Sarkozy in France to cause a military treaty, security treaty with Russia?
Well, listen, just 2 days ago, as you know, AP reported they had a secret nuke bomber drill with aircraft from China practicing refueling in our supposed #1 ally after Israel in the Middle East, Turkey.
Turkey, that's right. Absolutely. Turkey has essentially switched sides. They were being bribed by the United States to have close relationships with Israel. They got stung now, and they've turned the corner. We've lost that.
Yeah, well, the issue is the #1 holder of our debt is doing refueling drills, because I guess they never had the RAND Corporation with mid-air refueling, practicing fueling jets for an attack on Western Europe. And the government's got 95% of its homeland security apparatus pointed at gun owners, conservatives, libertarians, returning veterans. This is a degenerate group of scum, and the CFR is on record for 30 years saying they were going to make China the 21st century power, the Chinese century. Nothing against the Chinese people, but holy mackerel, the most demonic, murdering country on earth in history is the Chinese, and Mao Zedong and David Rockefeller praising him. And just shame on the FBI, shame on the government, shame on all of you spying on citizens while they're refueling nuke bombers in Turkey, and you're there sucking your thumbs spying on us right now. You make me sick. It's just unbelievable. Joel Skousen, I really appreciate you spending the last 45 minutes with us, and I look forward to speaking to you in the near future.
Thank you very much, Alex. It's always good to be with you.
Good to have you here with us. I mean, come on. Nuke bombers practicing refueling in Turkey to nuke Europe, and Ron Paul's the threat. Alex Jones is a threat. You got this piece of trash, George Soros, running around with all these media companies attacking this operation every day, implying that we should be arrested. Yeah, nuke bombers aren't a problem. Giving all these enemies all the weapons and our debt, that's not the problem. It's us here in Austin, Texas, because we're not scum. Now, we're going to have a world premiere here. About an hour ago, my sister who works here, Marley, said, hey, did you hear what your son made at home with his sister? And I'm not going to get into my kids' names and their private stuff. Just he's a big fan of the show. We don't let him listen all the time when it's really hardcore issues. He's 8 now. And my dear daughter is 6. And, of course, we have the 2-year-old. What a sweetie pie. What a cupcake. They let you know what life's really all about. And coming up here in a few minutes, we're going to premiere for the first time the son of Alex Jones here on the 2010 third annual Money Bomb. Hopefully there'll be a next one next year if we're even still around, the way everything's going to Hades in a handbasket, hell in a handbasket, Choron in a handbasket. But while we're speaking about Greek gods, how about I'm Festus here out the mouth of Vulcan, trying to build the info weapons inside the foundry, just bashing my hammer into, the swords of truth. We're going to play a 10-minute video where I show you some of the attacks we're under. It's titled We're Under Attack, and then how we need your support. And then we are going to go to Dr. Stan Monteith for the balance of the hour. But I do want to encourage people. We're about to premiere this audio of my son. I didn't know this was, they brought this up, and my wife didn't even bring it to me. It's my sister did and said, oh, they gave us this. They didn't think you wanted to use it, but here it is. Oh, it's great. And we'll play it again later for folks that miss it around midnight or so. So tell folks to tune in. I mean, I think it's pretty sweet, and it's my son following in my footsteps. I can just imagine what he's going to become, and I'm trying to get him to be part of the family operation against tyranny. But I have no doubt it'll just be like Ron Paul and Rand Paul. I just can't wait to see. He's already so much smarter than I was at 8. He reads at like a 15-year-old level. He knows more than I do about so many subjects. It's amazing. But if you want to donate to the Infowars Moneybomb and be part of this and help us finish the new studio, expand the social network, all we're doing, God bless you all. We couldn't have done this without you, and this platform to bring on other researchers and guests and academics and so many others and people that are being persecuted by the globalists. And thank you all for your support. It's 888-253-3139, 888-253-3139 to call and donate, whether it's $1 or $10,000. It all goes to the fight. I want to thank you all who have donated. Or go to InfowarsMoneybomb.com and donate there on the site. It's really picking up. Very exciting. I want to thank everybody. It's almost over $250,000. We're going to be updating the site here in just a few minutes. And we want to reach $500,000 by the end of the show tomorrow. 27-hour live transmission, InfowarsMoneybomb.com. And even if you can't donate, I understand completely. It's those of you middle-class people that have no future. If you let the globalists win, you got to resist. Resistance is victory. And we're having a big effect right now, and the world is awakening. And so we're not here at the barrel of a gun taking your money. We're asking you for the support. So Infowars.com, InfowarsMoneybomb.com to donate. PrisonPlanet.com has links to it. Or you can call 888-253-3139. But here it is. He has wanted on the air for years. Since he was about 4, he would come into the studio at the old office and say, I want to be on air with you. And I'd let him play around and talk on the radio. And then he comes up and, you know, Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones. And he's always wanting to be on air. And he sees all the propaganda in children's books and everywhere else. He's so smart. If we'll just inform our children early, you know, the government's brainwashing them. You just have to teach them the ability to think and open their eyes and have them question. And it's amazing what they do. So, honey, I know you're listening. And my daughter is singing in the background on this, the older daughter, 6-year-old, Sweetie Cake. Iggy's her nickname. I won't tell you her real name because the stalkers and stuff will try stuff. But here is to my sweetie pies listening and my wife and children driving home. They were just here. They brought everybody hamburgers. We'd already gotten Chinese food, but my wife showed up with hamburgers and blankets for anybody that's staying up here tonight. Here is the world premiere of my son and my oldest daughter. She's singing in the background. Talking about the InfowarsMoneybomb.com. Here it is.
I listen to Alex Jones all the time. Sometimes it's scary, but I'm glad I know that drinking water with fluoride can make you stupid and sick. I'm glad I know about the New World Order and that my parents haven't given me any poisonous shots. When I grow up, I want to live in a free country, not a police state. Please support the Infowar and give to the Money Bomb. I hope my kids will have independent media to listen to when I grow up. Thank you for your support, and God bless our sovereign, patriotic republic.
There is the debut of my 8-year-old son and my 6-year-old daughter singing God Bless America, from sea to shining sea. Coming up in about 10 minutes, Dr. Stan Monteith, icon of the Patriot movement, medical doctor, patriot, exposing the eugenics agenda. Dr. Stan Monteith of Radio Liberty on over 40 AM and FM stations. He is joining us. Been fighting for 50 years. He's one of the only living icons, along with just Ron Paul and G. Edward Griffin and a few others. He's coming up. But again, join us in this historic money bomb, InfowarsMoneybomb.com or 888-253-3139. Don't wish later that you would have done something. Don't wish later that you wouldn't have done more. Don't wish later that you hadn't gotten involved. Get the videos. Make copies of them. Give them out to everybody. Find Obama Deception, Fall of the Republic, Invisible Empire, all the great films I've directed and produced on YouTube, on Google. Email them out to everybody. It's all about standing up. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here's the video titled We're Under Attack. I think it's one of the best pieces Aaron Dykes ever put together. Here it is. I want to ask you a question. What media organization can you think of in the world that's having a bigger effect at actually waking people up to hardcore issues? Sure, Ron Paul is wonderful, and he talks about the private Federal Reserve and the inflation tax and the imploding economy that's being engineered by the central bankers. But when it comes to media, who will really tell it like it is? And who has woken more people up? The answer is Infowars.com. And that's because you, the listeners of my broadcast in the last 15 years, as we slowly built and grew this platform to get the message of true freedom and sovereignty out, have continued to spread the word about the transmission. We're not funded with federal government product placement or propaganda placement or behavior placement money. As Fox, CNN, MSNBC, ABC are on record with billions of dollars a year of federal money. We're not supported by the big mega corporations that want the New World Order that is a giant collectivized corporate slave system. We don't have